my God. Come for the astrology, stay for the nature. Oh my God. Check it out. Rio Tulare, Costa Rica, down by Mount Chiripo. This is astrology for the soul. Definitely April 1st of 2026. We got to see what's going on around here. And welcome to the full moon in Libra, baby. Absolutely. A pink full moon. That's what she's going to be tonight. I hope you get to see it. I hope there's no clouds around here and I get to see it. And then, and this, of course, first, she opposes Saturn. Well, first opposes Neptune, then opposes Saturn, then comes opposite the sun, right? I mean, they're all together over there in Aries. I'm going to be talking about Aries. I'm going to read you the Sabian symbol for 12 degrees, 21 minutes of Aries, where the sun is, for this whole day. Very powerful, very powerful. What else is going on? Well, and then she moves into Scorpio by Friday, and she makes this great T-square. It's to the minute, like 15 degrees, 15 minutes of Scorpio opposite Venus at 15 degrees, 15 minutes of Taurus, square, it's 5 degrees, 15 minutes, that's it. Because Pluto in Aquarius, 5 degrees, 15 minutes of Aquarius to Scorpio to Taurus. That is happening on Friday. Very powerful day. Watch out for that. Yeah, Venus will be square Pluto the whole day. Moon will just be going by for a few hours. And Mercury will be trine Jupiter. So talk about your love life, baby. Yeah. Beautiful time to be talking about those feelings, compulsions, addictions, whatever you got going on. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. And on Sunday, the sun comes in to square Jupiter. Yeah. So, again, that's around 16 degrees, I think, is happening. And then by Sunday, then the moon is going to move out of Scorpio into Sagittarius, trining Saturn, and the beat goes on. So, let me find a place that's not too noisy, look at you, and talk about it. All right, everybody, happy full moon. Woo! Full moons make the feelings run high. You know, they've done studies, and definitely, mental institutions and hospitals and everything. There's noted, statistical evidence of the full moon really impacting us psychologically. The moon rules fluids. It's not good to do surgery. On the full moon, it makes for hemorrhaging. And so, yeah, it's the fluids are running high, emotions are running high, and it's, and it's illuminating. It's illuminating, isn't it? This is a real time of great illumination, particularly around Libra, our relationships, and Aries, ourself, and this tree knocking me in the head. Oh, where to go? There's so much to say here about this week. This is a really powerful healing time, and as many of you, this is it. This is what we came in here for. This is the end of the patriarchy. This is the end of the empire. And empires go out in violence. Whether it's the Roman Empire, the Persian Empire, the England Empire, when an empire falls, it's not a pretty sight. It's not graceful. And it doesn't look like this is going to be much of any exception. And having to do with the patriarchy. This is, this is male dominated, okay, hierarchical, conquering, warrior energy for thousands of years, Martian, fire, I, me, my, Aries, Leo, Sag are the fire signs. We have this great stellium, okay, in Aries. And I scrolled ahead a little bit. Like, wait till April 15th, man. Mars goes into Aries. Mercury, the moon, Sun, Saturn, Neptune, Chiron, Eris, all in Aries. I mean, you think the world's on fire now, there's more fire coming. And it's part of the thing that, this is a time where, yes, the fire portal, right, has opened. And it is a time of tremendous transformation. And that transformation begins right here at home. And this is what's always been kind of like blowing my mind. It's like, Uranus is going into Gemini. It's going to trine Pluto. And they're both going to sextile Neptune by this summer, okay, in the northern hemisphere. 4 degrees, 4 degrees, 4 degrees. Sextile, trine. Like, so this is a, this is like a positive, evolutionary leap for humanity. And we have to get past our the terror and the pain and the suffering of like lives being lost and Mother Nature being bombed and destroyed. And I mean, nature is like cruel, but Atlantis has gone down, Lemuria has gone down. Think of Noah's flood. Last time it was water, now it's fire. But it will be born again. Gaia is phenomenal. She always comes back. But let's get more personal, because this is about astrology for the soul, and we can look and deal with what's going on for us individually, because, okay, this is time for us to do our work. We need to be lighthouse beacons. And in order to be a lighthouse beacon, we have to clean the mirror of our soul. We have to cleanse, okay, our shadow. And this is a time for shadow work. This is a big time for shadow work, and shadow work involves relationship, partnership, intimacy, vulnerability, often sexuality. This is where the rubber hits the road. You do not get to know yourself by looking in the mirror. Aries needs Libra. Aries needs feedback. Aries just puts out. And this is where I want to be talking about the narcissist and the empath. Beauty and the Beast. Sun in Aries, Moon in Libra. We have this energy. And I just watched this amazing video on, the narcissist, the empath leaving the narcissist. And the trauma and the deep, intense experiences that each go through. And in particular, this guy was talking about the narcissist, because let's really understand, number one, we all have a bit of narcissism in us. It is self-protection. It is survival instinct. Okay, it is, like I, me, my. Aries warrior, I will exist, I will survive, I will stand strong. So we all need a little bit of this on this planet. However, so I don't want to get into labels, okay, he or she's a narcissist or this or that or the other thing. I mean, I want to look at the narcissist in all of us, okay, and just say that if it gets to an extreme, obviously the more extreme, the more painful, difficult experiences, okay? And the narcissist can become a very perpetrator, right, of, chaos. Because this is what the inner world of a narcissist is. They live in absolute chaos. And this goes back to childhood. And both, we can say, this is what's so interesting, right? The empath and the narcissist, in a way, neither one has a strong inner core. The empath, okay, is a deep sea sponge for psychic energy. And, and empathizes and sympathizes and goes out into the other, right? And others. And of course is very sensitive and can be a very good healer, counselor, therapist, blah, 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 but can also lose themselves. The narcissist, on the other hand, and we're looking at moon and Saturn and sun and moon. This is mom and dad. This is Jupiter in Cancer. All this stuff comes down to childhood and past lives. And we chose these parents and we chose this mom. Look at your own chart. 4th house, moon, Saturn, sun aspects. And just look at that childhood. And if there's Mars involved and Aries involved and Libra involved or Pisces and Virgo, whatever, we have definite signs associated, okay, more so with the empath and more so with the narcissist. It's not just Aries, Libra, okay. Really, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, these can all be narcissistic. Okay, Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn, Aquarius can be very narcissistic. I would lean more towards Virgo, Pisces, and Libra as more of the empath. Yeah, but, we don't want to, it's not so cut and dried. It's not sun sign astrology. You have to look at the whole chart. Look at all of your planets. Look at Neptune also for the empath. But anyway, getting into this, the inside world of the narcissist is also empty. It's hollow. They were invisible as a child. Mom and dad didn't see them, right? And so they didn't get a real sense of security and ability to, nurture themselves and slow down that nervous system and find security within themselves. So they got grandiose. And they used other people as mirrors, and they grandstand. So they get attention and they get feedback, and they need to be in control of their environment, okay, because they're so afraid and insecure deep down inside. And they don't want to lose their audience, they don't want to lose control, they don't want to lose their partnership, so they can get very dominating, very domineering, very control freak oriented. Yeah. Robbing the other, okay, of their identity. They can gaslight the other person, do anything, okay, to not lose them, because that other person is the mirror, is the reflection of telling the narcissist that they exist, who they are, supporting their show, right, supporting their, their drama. So it's the narcissist is in deep need of an audience, of a deep need of another person to feed their sense of self. And if they get no audience and no feeding and no nothing, they will collapse into deep psychological despair and collapse. The empath, okay, the empath can get sucked into and drawn into and want to save and heal and help and hold that narcissist, right? And get drawn into that drama. It can be extremely difficult, okay, for the empath to break free or to break out or to let go, right? And the narcissist one is you're going to hold on for dear life, And so there is this is Aries Libra, right? This is this full moon kind of energy. So we all have an empath in us. We all have a narcissist in us. We all have, and what this is all based upon is shadow. I'm talking about shadow work here. This is what, this moon in Scorpio, opposite Venus, squaring Pluto, the full moon in Libra, illuminating. The moon is our subconscious. The shadow is what we are unconscious of. And so much of this manipulation, so much of these fears and these needs and these insecurities are beneath the layers of ego consciousness until a full moon comes around, until moon opposite Venus comes around, until Venus square Pluto comes around. Then these things come to the surface. They come into consciousness. And so this can be a time. And what I really want to emphasize here is that, it's like as much as we want to raise our vibration, our unresolved issues, our unconscious complexes from our childhood and our past lives, will hold us back and hold us down. They will limit the Kundalini energy from rising. They will limit the downloads that we receive through the crown. This, because we are not in a peaceful state of serenity in order to receive the highest vibrational information. So it becomes very necessary for us, particularly during these times, when we need to be awake, we need to be aware, we need to be nourished, held, strong, vital, energized. We need to deal with our shit. We need to really look, at our relationships. We need to, now the moon has to do with our past. So this could be past relationships. This can be all the way back to childhood and the teenage years and any kind of abusive situations that we were victims of or perpetrators of or unconscious of, or, wherever we did harm, or, even coming in to forgive and have compassion for those who harmed us. But this is all the work that really needs to be happening now so that we can mature. I'm going to read to you the Sabian symbol for the degree of the sun. Like I said, an unexploded bomb reveals an unsuccessful social protest. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I thought I would try. I'm going to turn the camera around so you don't have to look at me read. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. An immature evaluation of the possibility of transforming suddenly the status quo. The symbol pictures the result of a particular attempt to resolve the conflict between two concept feelings of order. Resolution by violence fails because the ego power at this stage, the 13th degree of Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, is far too strong. The state, the empire, thwarts attempts at popular revolution because these are premature expressions of a consciousness which is not free, but can only react wildly to constraint and to a central ruling power. It is thus a symbol of immature refusal to conform in the name of an over-idealistic desire for harmony and peace. So you know what we're talking about here. We're talking about maturity and immaturity, right? We can yell and scream and revolt and, be victims and blame the powers that be and this and that and go into hysterics and revolution on the streets, and no more kings protests and all. I mean, we can, but this is not what is going to bring the patriarchy down. What's going to bring the patriarchy down is itself. And here I want to read to you the Sabian symbol for the 6th degree of Scorpio, where the moon will be opposite Venus and square Pluto. I should put the hours, but you guys are all over the world, so I can't put the hours. But let me turn that camera back again. The gold rush tears men away from their native soil. The passionate search for new values, which at any level promise a more abundant life. I love this line. The greatness of humanity is that we can always be greater. Likewise, at a national level, whether it is Iran, Israel, the U.S., at the national level, man's greed can more easily be aroused by whatever promises more wealth, more power, and ever greater achievements at all levels, material as well as spiritual. Beyond the arousal of greed is the deep-seated desire to play a more important or spectacular role, the narcissist, in one's society or community. Greed is the perverse intensification of the social sense, just as lust is the perverse intensification of the longing for love. Always at this Scorpio level, this is now the 8th sign of the zodiac, the yearning is for an ever more intense and all-absorbing union with a person or a community. A yearning which motivates a search for more effectual means to achieve as total a feeling experience as possible. So I'm reading this because, the narcissist, is almost like at the root of, the psychotic, and at the root of the sociopath. All three of these, the narcissist, the psychotic, and the sociopath, will never admit that they are wrong, that they've made a mistake. They will never say they are sorry. They will never humble themselves. This is the extreme. And of course the sociopath and the psychotic are even more extreme than the narcissist. And they need more. They want to be a bigger and bigger and bigger role in the nation, in the state. It's never enough. Power leads to greed, right? And in the love life with Venus and Pluto, never enough sex, never enough lust, never enough passion, never enough, juice and intensity in the relationship. And if that, if it requires crying and tears and screaming and yelling, this intensification is like an addiction. And it's an addiction when you need more and more and more and more, right? The alcoholic needs more alcohol. The junkie needs more heroin, right? It takes more pot to get high. It takes more coffee to catch a buzz. So this is, part of that addiction is just like, until you lose control. And like I say, being human is dealing with addiction, whether it's work, sex, love, books, Netflix, the screen, YouTube, whatever. You can't get addicted to the Pele Report because it's only once a week. And I don't do it any more than that. But anyway, yeah, so anyway, you get this sense that, this dealing with addictions, this dealing with our, our need for intensity is really what we can work on. Because intensity, the fruit of intensity is it opens up. The volcano gets more intense, and then it explodes, right? And up comes the lava, up comes the source, the root, the reason, the cause of the eruption into consciousness. So this is the full moon. I want to encourage you to really sit down with your loved ones. Sit down with those who have hurt you. Sit down with those you have hurt. Sit down, even with your parents or your children, and just really bring into consciousness what is unconsciously driving your actions, your fears, your needs, and particularly your anger, right? And your sense of abandonment and your pain. And just by talking, just by bringing it up, right, there can be a healing can occur, because now it's conscious. And once it's conscious, it's not going to function or ever act in the same way again. So let's do our work. Let's not spiritual bypass. Let's not just, meditate, sing songs and singing bowls and light fires and do ceremonies and, call the spirits. No, let's get into, we want to do that. Don't get me wrong. We want to do all of that, and we want to go into what's uncomfortable. We want to learn to live with discomfort. Because in discomfort, this is Chiron conjunct Eris, right? The goddess of discomfort, the goddess of discord. There's great healing now in what gets you pissed off, in what triggers you, in what creates a bigger emotional response than it should. That's shadow. Right there. Right there. If you're, and especially if you're in a room with 10 people, and you're the only one that's super pissed off, well, then it's it's something in you, because it's not hitting other people the same way, it's your shadow, it's your personal stuff. And as we do this, and we clean ourselves, and we clean our slate, and we clean our karma, we're gonna naturally vibrate at a higher frequency, and we're gonna naturally attract, greater energy into our lives, greater information, greater guidance, and boom, baby. We're gonna make this happen. So the mantra for this week, the song for this week, I can't forget it. I think I forgot it last week. You shouldn't have took more than you gave. We wouldn't be in this mess today. We all have dues to pay. Whatever, Oh, and even though we have different ways. It's by Traffic. Dave Mason also did it. You shouldn't have took more than you gave. The patriarchs, the Rothschilds, the Illuminati, the politicians and the bankers, they shouldn't have took more than they gave. We wouldn't be in this mess today. Son of a bitch. I promise to do my shadow work and not pretend I'm only light. For just like La Luna, I can be black and then white like her tonight. Nobody's all good. Nobody's all bad. We're infinite spiritual beings stuck in a material third-dimensional plane of polarity. Plus, minus, narcissist, empath, good, bad, heaven and hell, good and evil, you name it. It's all just the third dimension. It's all perfectly imperfect. We are divine light beings. But when we incarnate, we've got some black and white. We are black and white. We are this and that. When we come into accepting the totality of loving all there is and all that we are, we don't have to come back. People ask me, hey, I don't want to incarnate anymore. I hate this planet. I say, good luck, man. Because if you don't want to incarnate anymore, guess what? The ticket out of here is absolutely loving every single person, thing happening here in this dimension. It's the only way out, baby. I promise to do my shadow work and not pretend I'm only light. For just like La Luna, I can be black and then white like her tonight. May you see La Luna tonight. Namaste. Aloha. So much love. Ow, baby.